Hello YouTube. So it has been weeks and weeks and weeks since we've done a fish room update. There's been many things that have been keeping us out of the fish room. I hope you enjoyed all the compilation videos we've been putting out in the meantime. But now we're back in the fish room. It's been a little neglected, to say it, politely, I guess. But wouldn't you know that when you leave your fish room and you just leave your fish alone, yeah, the tanks might not look that great, but boy, do the fish start spawning, and we have fry everywhere, and that's what we're going to take a look at in this video. Now, we're going to start with the Lakara here, a species unknown, but currently being called species Upper Otabapo, as that's where they are collected from. And if you look at this rock right here, you're going to see a billion eggs.
She does not look pleased with you. So, as you can see, the female is like on fire right now. She looks extra beautiful because she's not letting anyone get near this rock. She did us all a huge favor and decided to lay these eggs on the rock that is directly in the center at the very front of the tank. So I didn't even notice this morning when I walked in. I was like, what's this? Why is she acting so weird? And then I look at the rock and go, oh, that would be why. So I'm really excited. These fish have been a big time favorite of mine. They have amazing personality. They are stunning. Personally, I think they are some of the best type of, the best example of these fish that I've seen. We've looked at a lot of pictures. I have yet to see any as lovely as these two, and so I am very excited for their fry. I think it helps a lot that the only other fish in here are the wad-eye, which pretty much ignore them, and then we have some corridoras. What are those, Loxosceles?
Yeah, I believe so.
So yeah, they haven't had a lot that they have to defend from. You can see she's kind of keeping everybody at bay, but no one's really trying to contend with her, which is nice. So I'm hoping these hatch quickly, and once they become wigglers, I plan on pulling them because I don't really want to take the chance of them getting eaten. So that's the plan as of now.
And before you leave comments that these are Lakara fulvopennis, we've done a ton of research and we believe them not to be. You're more than welcome to your opinion, but there is a lot of debate going back and forth. And fulvopennis are not really collected where these are, so we do believe that they are a separate species, as we haven't counted rays or anything, but
it's a pretty common misconception that these guys are fulvopennis, even though I myself, when I first saw them, thought, I think these might be fulvopennis, but then after deep dives, yeah, it's you're counting scales, you're counting rays.
They're also larger.
They are much larger. That's the thing, is we anticipated these fish staying a lot smaller, and so we had them in a 20-gallon, and then one day I look in there and I'm like, why are they huge? Why are these things huge? They're about 3.5 inches, and I
bet the male's
over 4. The male's probably pushing 4, yeah, and I have a feeling when they're all said and done, like growing wise, I think it's going to be like a 4 or 5 inch fish. So, and they're just beautiful. Look, I know she's extra pretty, but even the male, he's lovely. The colors on both of them, the finnage, big fan of these fish.
So here are the Pelvic Cichlid Drakenfelsi, C-I-C, whatever, however you want to pronounce that. And it's a funny story on these guys, is we were kind of yelling at them one day, like, hurry up and spawn, why haven't you spawned? And then the next day there was a free swimming fry in here. And right now it looks like they're going to be hiding in this cave right now. They either hide them in this cave, or they go all the way back behind the sponge filter, which is where I believe they are now. Sometimes we can see one poke its head out, but this cichlid stone is more than half buried. It's way down here, and that's where the fry are, inside of that hole most of the time. So I don't know, they're not going to come out right now. These are kind of a shy fish. They don't like having the camera shoved in their face, and this is a pretty new spawn, so we're just going to leave these alone right now, but very exciting still to have these spawn, especially after we were yelling at them. It's kind of funny. Now, over on our fry rack here, kind of quarantine area, we've got lots of like random fry in this tank here. There's some very itty bitty little Aenis corridoras, just the bronze corridoras, pulled about 50 eggs, and they're kind of in this little mess right here, sifting through there. The camera, they're so small the camera doesn't pick them up. There's a pygmy swordtail fry in there, and some, what are those?
Variatus platies.
Yeah, there's a couple of the Hawaiian Variatus platies growing out in there as well. But if you look at these little guys kind of scooting around right here, these other little itty bitty tiny guys, there's actually a corridora right there. But this guy here, these are T-bar fries, so this is our, what, second or third?
Third.
third spawn of T-bar fry. They're growing out in here, and these are just some tetras in quarantine here. But if we come look over here, this is our 10-gallon wall over here. All these little itty bitty babies here are again the first spawn of T-bars. There's also some bronze cories growing out in there and various random other fry. Like one-offs, like the Adolphoi cory here. Just found one egg, threw it in there, and it hatched out. So pretty excited. We have these T-bars. We've got a tank down here with some T-bars. And then what's the other fish in here?
Mollyciochromis signatus.
See, if we wait long enough, we can see the school of signatus fry. They pretty much do circles around this rock, which is pretty neat. So we've now got 3 batches of T-bar cichlids, 2 batches of signatus, because if we look over here, we have another huge batch, and we got another algae bloom in here. We haven't done water changes, life gets in the way, yada, yada, yada. But obviously it is not affecting the happiness of the fish, otherwise they would not be spawning. So in addition to the fry, we also got some new fish. We recently attended the Greater Portland Aquarium Society meeting and picked some of these up at auction. Tell us about these.
These are Satanoperca leucosticta, and I'm pretty obsessed with these. So I've actually kept Jurapari in the past, but I've never kept this type of Jurapari. So this is a Satanoperca Jurapari, but it is considered, it's called a white spot earth eater. So what happens as they get older is their base is going to darken up to kind of like it's like a brownish red, and then they get these really beautiful white spots all over their face and like the first half of their body. And the really cool thing about these guys is they were terrified in the tank. They did not seem happy. I was actually a little concerned because they seemed so shy. The second we put them in this tank, they immediately relaxed, and I'm 99.9% sure it's because of the sand. These are earth eaters. All they want to do all day long is sift through the sand. And as you can see, what they're doing right now is what they do all day long. They're so enjoyable to watch. They slowly go back and forth in these like gregarious groups, which is why we actually picked up 8 of them. So this is the perfect size group. I would recommend that if you want to keep anything like this, 6 to 8 bare minimum. People tend to buy these in singles, and it's just not a good idea. They do like to be in groups. You can see their behavior. Look, they almost school together. It's kind of wild. They'll do that as adults as well. They'll form a hierarchy, and once that hierarchy is in place, they'll just kind of all hang out together. And I'm really, really hoping that we get a pair out of these, at least one pair, because I'd love to raise these guys. I never ever got to raise. My Jurapari was a single female, which was my mistake, and she would lay eggs and nothing would happen, obviously. So I'm really excited at the prospect of being able to spawn these guys, because they're beautiful fish, and they're really, really gentle for being a larger cichlid. They get to be about around 8-9 inches, so they're going to be pretty big. They're going to be in a nice big tank, and they will absolutely be the showpiece.
Yeah, so we're actually going to be setting up a 125 specifically for these guys. We're making a lot of changes in the fish room. I'm looking for some 33 longs and some 15-gallon tanks, some sizes that you don't really come across. But yeah, there are a lot of stuff coming down the pipe for the fish room. Really, really excited about it too. So here's something I'm super excited about. I picked up a pair of these, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the name, but here's the male, and they're a darker black Goby, kind of dark brown. Come around to the side here, and they have these really high extensions on the dorsal fin. You can kind of see, it's hard to see because of the plants in the background, but it's yellow. It doesn't, the camera's just not picking up. There you can kind of see the yellow dorsal fin. And these guys are really kind of different than your typical gobies because they're from a lake, first of all, right? So they're not from a river or stream, they're from a lake, and they have these gigantic swim bladders that they use to just float around in the water, and that's what they do. The female's over here. So you kind of think goby like you think like a stream tank, flow, they're gonna hang on rocks. But no, these guys are very interesting in the fact that they just float. That's what they do.
All day.
And all day long, they're in these plants just floating around. I've never seen them on the bottom. They have yet to touch the substrate as far as I'm aware, which is just kind of crazy. It's very cool, very interesting new goby. Now, these are definitely not brackish gobies. They do come from a lake in the South Sulawesi province of Indonesia. Unfortunately, though, that lake does kind of drain into the sea there, so I'm not sure if they will spawn in fresh water or if they, well, spawn in fresh water, eggs wash out into the sea and they eat plankton for 3 to 6 months and then they make their way back up to the lake. I'm not sure. Well, we'll see what happens here. I'm hoping they'll spawn and we'll find out. There's very little information about these guys, so hopefully we can learn together. Here he is now flaring, but he's behind this plant here. There you go. Just a really beautiful goby. Very different in their behavior, and I'm super excited to have them.
They're very nice gobies. I don't see them ever bother any of the, like there's lots of small fish in this tank that, you know, they're small too, but they couldn't mess with them. They have big mouths, but they don't bother anyone, and they don't seem fazed by any other fish either. They're very unfettered by other fish. They just do their thing all day.
Yep, they're not concerned with the pencil fish, they're not concerned with the cories, or my breeding group of L494s here, which is what this tank is set up for. Oh, there's also some Epistos in here.
Just the randomest tank that everybody likes each other quite a bit. So.
Yeah, we got the jelly bean tetras scooting around in the
so
back.
random.
It's very bizarre, but you know, it works so far. It works so far. So there you go, an update on what's been going on in the fish room. Quite a lot, but at the same time, not a lot.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of work to catch up on, obviously, in the fish room. Get these tanks cleaned up, algae-free, hopefully duckweed-free, and just looking good again. We're back to work.
Go buy fish, guys.
Yep.
Bye.
Go buy fish.